So we're going to start. So welcome everyone. Beautiful to see all your faces here. So many of you. And we've got two speakers today, both from Alberta in Canada, but we were just talking and there's sort of like 7 hours difference between them, you know, in driving, I'm sure. So they know each other sort of, and they've seen each other now. So that's beautiful. So our first speaker is Sandra, and you can see her beautiful smile there. And a very short introduction, because really it's down to Sandra to share her magic. So what I've got is Sandra is a dragon ally and the visionary behind the dragon tails, and that's Tails, as is in the big wiggly tails. And that's all on YouTube, so do check her out, and I'll be putting all the links everywhere as I do normally. And she's a visionary of the Guide Academy. Ooh, sounds amazing. And she guides you through connecting with your guides, evolving your chakras, and discovering your dragon energy. And today she's going to talk to us about claiming your power and connection with dragon. So Sandra, welcome to Dragon Talks. It's beautiful to see you. All over to you.
Well, thank you. I truly do appreciate being here with your beautiful audience. Love being a part of it. Love being around your energy as well, Kevin. Thank you for the space to share about the dragon energy. And it truly, I noticed in the comments that some of you have been here a while and some of you are newcomers. I'm a newcomer to the Dragon Talks specifically, although I have been on Kevin's summits, and I'm looking forward to the summit coming up in July as well for the Dragon Thunder. You know, when we talk about dragons, it's really interesting because we can get, you know, I'm going to go off in one direction first and then off in the other direction. We can be really, I guess the word that I keep hearing is dismayed. We can be dismayed by how other people are so, oh my gosh, I can't believe how connected these people are and the magic that they have happening around themselves with dragon energy. And then I'm sitting here and I'm in this dragon energy, and this dragon energy doesn't feel anything like what other people are talking about. And that was one of the things that I personally really had to come to grips with, was really recognizing the magic, especially having participated in Kevin's previous summit. The magic that some people really have with connections with dragons. I have a close personal friend who, in a matter of one conversation with a dragon, in a matter of 45 days, she had an entourage of about 16 really close dragons that were just like, wow, they just came in like that. For myself, it's been quite a different path. It's been a bit longer, and dragons have been here probably for, gosh, since about 2017 is when I really started to recognize dragon energy. And in October of last year, I actually was sitting in my living room, and I've been, you know, playing with the energy of dragons for a while now. I had my own medicine wheel program at that time and was working with dragon energy. And then I was sitting in my living room in October, and literally I had this sentence come through: I am the dragon ally. And I'm like, whoa, what's that? I really felt, oh, I'm gonna, you know, kind of explore what this is. And as I sat in the energy of that with my eyes closed, I could actually feel all of this dragon energy sitting in the living room with me, like all different sizes, all different kinds of energy of dragons, different colors. And I felt very empowered in that moment. And I think it was in that moment that I really realized that my journey with dragons is my journey with dragons. That there was no need any longer to do that comparisonitis that we often get, right? And so in doing that, I started as well to really claim that word "the" in front of the dragon ally, because when we use something with the word "the" rather than "a," we're really empowering ourselves in a much stronger sense, because we can all say we are dragon allies, we're a dragon ally, but you know, just take a moment to think of the word "the" in any of your handles. Like when I say I am the dragon ally, feel the power in that, right? Yeah, yeah. And it's like all of my titles. I'm not just an inner peace mentor, I'm the inner peace mentor, because I am the original Sandra Pelly, just like each of you are the originals of each of yourselves, right? So really standing into the energy of who you are when you're claiming anything that you are. And it's absolutely so important for us to start to really claim things, because I feel that the way that the energy and the world and humanity is evolving right now, the more of us that step into thas rather than it's going to start to change the world even that much more quickly. Yes, exactly. You see, put down, I called myself the past life detective. Can you imagine if she just said a past life detective? It just totally changes the energy. So I really would love for each of you to really recognize that word the, even if it's your first name or and last name, like the Rich Harrison. Woo, feel how powerful that sounds, right? So this is what dragon energy is really asking of us right now, is to step into that and feel a lot of power with that. For myself, again, I really still, I mean, even though I knew now that I am the dragon ally, I wanted to understand this in a way that would work for myself so that I would be able to bring it to other people. And what started to become apparent was that I really liked the energy of recognizing my inner dragon. What is an inner dragon? Well, we all have this sense of knowing, this internal guidance that's around us, right? And oftentimes we hear it, and sometimes we don't actually take action with that. What we can do, though, is when we start to really develop a relationship with our inner dragon, that is when we actually take that inner guidance, and the inner dragon brings us into the action of that inner guidance. Okay. So for myself, the next part of that was to start to understand what that inner dragon was. We know that there are so many different types of dragons. Now, Kevin, am I going to just keep talking, or do you want to intercede anything here?
You keep talking. You're doing amazing. If
Okay,
you need me to
wonderful.
chip in and ask anything, just let me know.
Yeah,
And if
and
anyone
feel
else
free
has
to
got
ask.
questions as well, just put them in the comments.
Please do, because I love being very interactive, and it really helps the conversation if you guys have questions, okay? So I really started to feel into the energy of what is this inner dragon? And one of the first things that really started to come through was many of us are very, very familiar with grounding. We're very familiar with grounding into the ground. How many of you have grounded into other elements? Hand up. Beautiful. A couple of you have. I love that. Yes. So when we start to ground into other elements, we start to really understand the dynamics of ourself and how the inner dragon is starting to work. Now, I am a true born Leo. I am born on the Lionsgate 0808 at actually 818. So I've got all these eights. I'm total fire energy. And yet my inner dragon is a water dragon. And it's so powerful. I can feel the blue, even as I speak about that inner dragon part of myself. It's interesting because I'm wearing blue on the top here too. I could just really feel the energy of that flow of energy of the water, and how it goes into all the little nooks and crannies, and I start to discover all of these pieces, right? So what I invite you guys to do, and is it okay if I do a process? Yay. Okay, then what I'd love to ask you guys to do is, first of all, let's all just, if you're in a safe space, not driving is what I'm going to suggest. If you're driving, then please do feel free to come back and have a listen to this afterwards. I would invite you to close your eyes, take a breath, take another, feel yourself settling into the energy of your physical body. I invite you to connect with your inner dragon. For some of you, that may come very easily. For others, just allow yourself to know that in the asking to connect with your inner dragon, it is so. It is being done. So I often just say, I'd like to connect with my inner dragon. And in that moment, you may get a sense, a feeling, a picture, words. If you get nothing, again, just know, K-N-O-W, know that you are connecting with your inner dragon. And allow that inner dragon to acclimate with your frequency and your frequency, your human frequency, to raise to that of the dragon, the inner dragon frequency. We're in a beautiful sacred space. Each of us connecting with our inner dragons. And take a moment to feel that, or to sense that. I know some people have a difficult time with feeling, so invite words to come in, if you will, whether they're clairaudient, where you hear them, or whether they're written words that you see upon a screen or something. Maybe it's an image of what element your inner dragon is. I invite you for a moment to come back into this space and write in the chat what your inner dragon was, if you feel comfortable with that. Is anybody having difficulty? Please put up your hand if you're having difficulty.
Hello?
Hello, Ariel.
I don't know where the chat is. How do I write there?
Beautiful. So if you go down to the very bottom of the screen,
Uh-huh.
there's 3 dots there that have the word more underneath.
Okay.
Click on that and the word chat should be at the top of that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, pleasure. Now it looks like everybody's connecting in with the dragon of some sort. I love it. And so I just really want you to understand that what we're doing here is the inner dragon. If you feel like it's another dragon, that's absolutely fine too. I'm not going to tell you that you're doing anything wrong. If a different type of dragon is connecting with you that is not an inner dragon, there's a reason why that dragon's coming up for you today. Okay? There's no right or wrong with this. Oh, I like that, inner earth. Yeah, so lots, and someone has 2 dragons flipping back and forth, one blue, one black. I love that. I know there's a person in my community when I'm working with the inner child stuff, she works very much with both genders of the inner child. So I love that, Margaret, you have 2 dragons flipping back and forth. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Look at all the different ones. You guys are so magical. I love it. Okay, let's go back into this now. So I invite you back in. You're connecting again with your inner dragon. Take a few breaths to acclimate. And you can do many different things when you're connecting with this inner dragon energy. You could be asking it questions. I often start with the 5 W's and the H, the who, what, when, where, why, and how. So maybe let's start with the energy of that. Who is this element, this elemental dragon? Who is this elemental dragon that I am connecting with right now? And just take a moment to feel into what's coming up for yourself with that. Now, I know that we can go into quite a lengthy period of time sitting in the energy of each one of these questions. However, I know that there's also another guest speaker, so I would like to keep it at a space where everybody's comfortable. One of the things that I do with my community is that I ask them to get used to coming in and out of that energy so that they get really used to that transition where it becomes very normal to transition into the different dimension, I guess, if you will, or different realms, right? And so now if you've got a pen and paper handy, write down who that elemental dragon was. For myself, mine actually said it was from the very ancient waters of China. So that was really interesting. That's the first time that that's come up for me. And I've done interviews with my inner dragon before. So we keep getting more information every time we interview the dragons, right? I love this. Ariel's is divinity and she's super cuddly. I love that. And Davina has 3 dragons appearing now. Beautiful. Okay, so once you've got your notes written, let's go back in. Where in my body are you connecting with this inner dragon? Where in your body are you connecting with the inner dragon? You could even take this question a step further. If you've got a very specific point in your body, and ask, why are you coming in this specific space into the human body, my human body? Remember to take some notes. Again, what's coming through is truly individual for yourself. There's no right or wrong. I know for myself with that one, I really felt this very specific spot in my waistline above my pelvic bone. I'm not sure what that spot would be called, but when I asked the why, it was very much the energy of recognizing the maternal line. I don't know if any of you have done Rite of the Womb. It's all the feminine energy. And so that's what I've been asked to recognize, is that feminine energy specifically with this. So you notice that I'm telling you little bits and pieces here so that you got a better understanding of what each of your pieces are too. You know, when you're claiming this power, this inner dragon energy is so magical. And as we learn each step along the way, like I just mentioned, I've interviewed this dragon before, and yet here's new answers coming up, right? If I'm getting the whole story, I'm starting to get a bigger picture. Oftentimes we come into these sort of things and we might do one thing and then we walk away and we never address that again. But inner dragon and dragon energy, as many as you know, is here to stay, and we're really being invited to play with it. Zara, I see, he says speaking and language are hard for him. Beautiful. So at that point, ask your dragon, how would it like to communicate? Is it with musical tones? Is it a song? Is it a picture? It doesn't have to speak with the human language. Is it a feeling? Is it events? So all of these bits and pieces are really important to understand, so you each learn and develop your own language with your inner dragon and all the dragons that you're connecting with. Love that energy. Beautiful. Yeah, and energies have all different kinds of frequencies and come from all different areas and spaces and places. So, okay, so let's go back in one more time. Taking that beautiful cleansing breath, connecting with your inner dragon. And what would that inner dragon like you to know in this space? What would you like me to know right now, inner dragon? Beautiful. Margaret, I love that. I'm the galactic shaman, so I can totally relate to that. Yeah, trust yourself. Beautiful solar plexus energy, right? That's that the center of where our inner child lives is the solar plexus, and it is that trust point. I love that you gathered that as well. Trust yourself. Beautiful. Yes, loves me and she'll always be here for me. Heart center. Beautiful. How connected are you guys feeling to your inner dragons right now? Hey, it's pretty magical. Yeah. You can actually do this with any of the dragons that you have. I see in Judy, she's shown a couple different dragons now with her, what she's got beside her, and she's shown a couple other ones. And a couple of you have shown other little dragons as well. Even the dragon costume that Peter's wearing, he could have an interview with that dragon costume and see what energy wants to come through when he's wearing it. Seriously, right? Why not? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Any questions? Anybody?
I think they're all in awe that they've managed to have an interview with a dragon. I just love that idea of interviewing the dragon. I get so many questions from people like, how does this do this? And why does that? And this is that. And I'm like, I don't know. It's your dragon. Sit down with them like you would a friend and ask the question. And your questions are beautiful, leading you through. And that interviewing the dragon is lovely. You can pretend that it's a first date, can't you? And what
Yeah.
are all those things you want to know about the person on the first date? Ask the same thing of the dragon. And yeah, and like you say, the more you connect the dragon, it's like if you connect with a person, the more they open up because they start to trust that you're going to actually listen and hear what they say. And I find that with my dragons, I'll ask them something and then they go off and I'm like, wow, that was new. They're like, well, we trust you enough now to share that. I'm like, well, thank you very much. So
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful process.
Taking a step further, I love what Claire Maria wrote there about the light language. There's a piece to come, an inner awareness of self and light language and higher dimensions within your soul to reach and develop. I was in a summit recently where I was talking about living your inner dragon, and the host asked me to channel the dragon language that wanted to come through. And it was one of those moments where I was definitely put on the spot. But interestingly enough, I gave myself over to the energy of that. And I honestly felt as though I literally energetically became the dragon. Like I felt myself grow in size, in bulk. I felt the ridges down my back. I felt my height and everything. There was still some resistance to letting that light language come through in a very natural manner at that point because I was put on the spot. However, it was a beautiful first step because I've been doing light language for a while now, and there are a few different channeled guides that do come through me. For the most part, it is my own light language. However, letting the dragon come speak through me now is very magical. And yes, that is exactly where it was, Margaret. I'm glad you were there. Yeah. So it's really is about developing that trust back and forth between yourself and that inner dragon. And as that happens, it becomes more and more powerful. As I mentioned in October, I was still kind of stumbling around, comparing everybody else's wowness with their dragons to my own. And now I'm really stepping into my own. And with that, I did an interview of a deck of cards, a new deck of cards that I got. And it was a beautiful deck of cards from Marion Egan, a beautiful soul in Ireland. And as I did this interview with the deck of cards, and I take these cards on a magical bicycle ride because I'm a mountain biker, and I bring them out and I put them somewhere. So I got pictures of them in this beautiful wildernesses that I ride my mountain bike. And then when I got home and did the interview with the deck, the part that said to describe the deck, it was this earth dragon energy that came up. And that's when I really started to recognize that even on that bike ride, I have been taking all kinds of pictures of clouds. Before the bike ride, dragons had come through and said, we really want to be attached to this deck of cards. This deck of cards isn't going to be necessarily used in the manner that the person who created it wanted it to be, or was shown it to be. I guess we don't necessarily want something to be some way. We're open to whatever way it wants to come through. So I was speaking with her and I told her that these dragons want to come through. And when I got back and I started looking at my pictures that I had taken that day of clouds, at least 5 or 6 of the pictures were dragon clouds. So dragons are always all around us. We can choose to really step into this, right? And I think because I've chosen to be myself in this, I don't know, I could get really emotional because I really feel that the connection with the dragons is so much stronger now because I'm no longer comparing myself to other people's energy with their dragons. And I feel like my journey is just that much stronger. And I think that's probably the most important message I want to leave with each and every one of you, is to really recognize that your journey is yours. And that's why I kept saying there's no wrong or right, no right or wrong, right? It's your journey. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. Has anyone got any questions? Don't be shy.
Yeah, or in
Write them
comments.
if you want to.
Well, I have a comment. I'm one of the people that helped develop timeline healing technique with Sandra Kelly. And I will tell you, I was quite surprised in about 2012 when the first dragon showed up in Mexico at Synthesis 2012 with a client in the middle of a huge campground situation of 2,500 people. So this dragon wanted to be physically present, but wanted the conversation to. I'm channeling part of this, so kind of hang in there with me. I don't do this every day. And this dragon wanted to be wanted all the dragons that were with the 2,500 people in that camping situation, because we were captured there because the police wouldn't allow us to leave, the Mexican police. So we were just trying to be, the highest vibration so we could somehow just disappear and not be put in the Mexican jail. But anyhow, the dragons from each person said to me that could we all connect in the higher selves of the people and through the client with the dragons. The dragons wanted to connect in the higher consciousness, the higher self. It was powerful. And when this happened, all of a sudden the Mexicano policemen put down, it still brings me to tears, they put down their guns, which were, quite active, to be ready to be active on us. And they joined a circle of us that were another circle that was actually doing sacred circle dance. And that was it. Everything just dissolved. And I have just been totally, eternally grateful forever. And it's always the dragons that I call upon whenever I need assistance. And I've been in some pickles in my life, particularly in Egypt. So I'm so very trusting of the dragons. So very trusting.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. I can feel the power of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. Anyone else got any questions? Is anything coming through? Lots of thanks. I'll just post in a whole bunch of links for Sandra so you can check her out. Obviously, all these links will be on the portal and they'll all be within the group. So you'll be able to see them forever. Anyone got any questions before we move to our next speaker? I'll give it a moment for you to be brave. Oh, and you just connected to your inner dragons. This is your chance to call your inner dragon up and ask Sandra a question. Don't be shy. If you don't want to be on camera, just type it. Don't let the moment slip by.
Hello, I have a question.
Go ahead, Ariel.
Ask.
Okay, so I had an interesting experience a couple of weeks ago with my dragon. I was in my bed, and I was sort of slipping away into slumber. And then I swear to God, I thought that I was being abducted by aliens because my body was lifting up into the air. And I was like, what the heck? And then I felt 3 giant fingers holding me and 2 more fingers digging into my back and doing something like energetically. And at first I was very startled, and then understanding dawned on me, like, wait a minute, this is a dragon. I'm not being abducted. Everything's fine. And I turned around and opened my eyes, and I saw this big, giant white dragon head looking down at me. And that was pretty spectacular. So anyhow, I just understood that I needed to chill out and let her do whatever she was doing. And I was like, okay, you do your thing. I'll just pretend to be asleep. So my question is, do you know exactly what she was doing, or what happened when she was digging her fingers into my back? She was like stroking along my spine,
Yeah.
So
The first thing that I'm being shown is, first of all, the very, very much the tenderness of the dragon that was working with you. It wasn't on you, it was with you, energetically with you.
okay.
There's something really fascinating about fingers, and the long story short, I do orthobionomy and other energetic work, and I noticed at some points there's a different frequency coming through my fingers as I'm doing energetic work on people specifically, whether they're distance or in front of me. And it's this energetic surgery that's being done. And that's what I'm feeling was accomplished with your permission at that time, that you were ready for it. And it's so interesting because I can feel I mentioned that right of the womb. You might want to look that up, because that's that female lineage that's back behind us. And notice it's back behind us.
Yeah.
And they were doing surgery on your back. And that's one of the things that was coming through immediately, was that there was a reconnecting, bridges being formed, I guess, if you will. And my hands are on fire talking about this, which is my talisman of the accuracy of the information that's coming through. And that is, there was an energetic reuniting of pathways to ancient wisdom down the feminine line, is what I'm feeling. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's all.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I just want to go a little bit further on that, just because what somebody wrote in the thing. Have you had any back problems? Oftentimes, our body will display a dis-ease, a discomfort, if you will, and it's not necessarily this lifetime's energy that it's dealing with. Okay. One of my kids is not a swimmer. when we did a regression, we discovered that this kid actually walked the plank and was tied up, da 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 da. So no wonder he doesn't like swimming, right? So understand that our body may have dis-ease and discomfort in it that is related to past lives or other realms and dimensions that we're currently living in, if you go that way as well. Okay, I just wanted to expand on that. Thank you. Yeah. So you're having felt that it's sensitive, and you're bringing it up here. Thank you so much for doing that, Ariel, for your sake, because you're finding out more information now. And this is something that you can now maybe explore with your inner dragon, is asking the questions of, who is this? Is this a male energy or a female energy? Which lineage is it? Is it down and by that's what I mean by male energy or female energy. Is it down my father's side or down my mother's side? Whether you know that family, if you're adopted, sometimes we don't know who that family is in this lifetime. However, the energy is still there. You don't necessarily have to know who that person was. Okay. So yeah, follow that lineage back now, and you can find a specific point that may be where it was. And when you're going, you don't necessarily need to go and look to see what it was. It's more about going to witness and have a better understanding so that you can move forward in a more informed manner in your life. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Someone's just typed a question for you. Have you seen that? Claire
Oh, do I
Marie.
use? Yes, I do. Okay. So Claire Maria said, I'm a spirit artist, trans medium. How do I use my beautiful white dragon's energy in my work? I'm very new to dragon energy. There's never any need to apologize, okay? Basically, all I do is when I'm going to sit down to do something, I will actually ask to connect with my inner dragon. And honestly, like I said, honestly, all you have to do is say, I'd like to connect with my inner dragon. You don't have to get all hoopla about all the ceremony and stuff. It's very simple, okay? And ask how it wants to come through. Just allow it to come through. As I mentioned, when we were starting to step into that beginning part of it, we let ourselves, our frequencies start to rise, and the dragon to meet our frequency as well. And in doing that, that also provides an easier pathway for the dragon to work with you. And you will find that, like for myself, I was never, ever an artist. All I ever drew were hearts or dogs' back ends, like their back leg and their tail on a fence, because I couldn't draw. And I went to a family night with my son. And it was one of these ones where you pay for the ticket and you all get together and you draw the same thing, you paint the same thing. And what I did when I was there, because this was the beginning of my spiritual journey, I asked to connect with my creative guide. And when I connected with that creative guide, the artwork that I created was completely different from everybody else in the room. Completely different. Because that was what wanted to come through, because I made the choice to connect with that guide. So Clara Marie, when you connect with that beautiful white dragon, you're giving it the opportunity to start to share itself with you. And you just, I said, I get myself out of the way. And I'm not sure if you guys understand what I say by that, but when I say I get out of the way of that, that gives this other part of myself, this other aspect, the inner dragon, to come through in a way that it may not have been able to. So if you feel like you're resisting, it's because you are still in the way. So ask yourself, or make this energetic stepping back to let that dragon come forward. Okay. And start to feel, like for each of you, start to feel the energy of what that dragon is inside you. Like when I feel that water blue dragon that is my inner dragon, it's so interesting how it feels when I make a conscious decision to feel what it feels like in my body. I feel like I sit different. I feel like I move different. So hopefully that helps. Beautiful. Thank you. I also like what Zahara wrote too.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Any other questions?
Thank you, everybody.
Let's send lots and lots and lots of love to Sandra. There's that reaction button. You can press the heart. You can put lots of thanks. Thank you, Sandra. That was beautiful. I think we're all going to be going away now and getting a big long list of questions to interview our dragons. They're going to be like, oh, blimey. That was a beautiful process. And I agree what you say, that often there's a lot of hoo-ha and ritual and ceremony around connecting with your dragons, and you can just sit there and just call them in. Certainly sometimes the ritual helps to center you and make sure you're fully there, but if you're fully there already and you, like you say, you just call them in, don't you? We do sometimes make it so complicated. My dragons always say that you humans are so complicated. Yeah, make it more simple. Sandra, thank you very much. And this recording will be out into the world, and I'll share all the links with everyone. And some of them are in the chat anyway. So thank you very much for that. There's lots of love there for you. Beautiful.